Everyone, welcome to Believe in Music 2021. Thanks for signing in and showing up for the Martin Strings live session. I'm Mike Zehner, and I'm here with Nate.
Hi everyone, I'm Nate Hoffman.
What we're going to be doing is we're going to actually be going through some crazy questions from our social media channels. I hope there's nothing embarrassing in there, but we're going to do our best. We're going to have fun with it. We're also going to have a lot of informational things that we're going to do throughout this half hour. So again, thanks for joining us.
I'm not worried about embarrassing questions. I'm worried about us embarrassing ourselves. That's what I'm worried about.
Well, I'm sure that will take place at some point. First question's up. Why is it that Martin sells more different strings than guitars?
It does feel that way. I agree 100%. But surprisingly, that's really not the case.
Right. I mean, we make strings for multiple instruments, other fretted instruments, outside of just a standard 6-string acoustic guitar. We make ukulele strings, mandolin, banjo, electric strings, titanium strings, which is a great product as well. So in total, we have approximately 90 SKUs, but really it's to cover pretty much every potential need that you would want.
And not to mention, I mean, you got to remember we build strings as a string business, and we're looking to outfit our strings on a lot of different guitars, not just Martin guitars. So
Right.
it really opens up opportunities for us to really get creative with these products. So there could be a day there are more SKUs of strings and guitars for all we know. I mean, it all depends on where the future takes us.
Yeah, and that's a good segue too, Nate. Last year we celebrated 50 years of string making.
Yeah.
Big milestone for Martin. It's a big part of our business. We put the same standard qualities, innovation into strings as we do our guitars.
Yeah. I got all the questions right, but I spend more time reading about guitars than practicing. Wow. I mean, that's a unique statement. I mean, I think most people buy guitars because they really want to play them. It's a shame that you're not practicing more. You're just reading about them. But if reading about guitars fulfills you, then hey, do what you got to do. But let's enjoy these things. That's what they're there for.
That may have been the question that I submitted because I think I can play more, but definitely there's a lot of good resources out there to go and learn how to play guitar.
Yeah.
So we've partnered with TrueFire, which is a great resource for playing guitar. So if you have some time, go check out that resource, and there's multiple others as well.
Sure.
A lot of stuff on YouTube. Next question is, I use Martin electric light green dots. They make an old laminate junk guitar sound fantastic. Turn it from campfire wood to a campfire guitar.
That's great. I mean, like I said before, we engineer a lot of different products for a lot of different guitars, not just Martin guitars. And that's an excellent example of the effort that we put into building strings that makes a guitar that someone feels is tired, outdated, worn out, junk for that matter. Sometimes a set of strings can really bring it to life. Make sure you keep changing those strings. If you get good results with a set of strings, that's great, but don't let it go sour. You know, you got to
Right.
keep changing those strings out.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of folks will say, or the question will be, so Martin strings only go on Martin guitars. And we're like, absolutely not. Yeah, we manufacture those strings, and both from our Navajoa facility and Nazareth facility, all Martin strings are coupled with the guitar to give it the best possible sound that we can produce out of that instrument. So Martin strings are great on any guitar.
Yes.
And you can put them on multiple different brands for sure.
Sometimes my left fingertips get green while playing. Do you know why? Well, I mean, hopefully you're not wearing something off and you're green underneath. That's one thing I would be worried about. But if that's not the case, I will say that a lot of times the alloys that we use in our string manufacturing do work with some body chemistry. So, for example, I know some people, their fingertips will turn black. Some people, they turn green. And a lot of times it's almost like a copper penny. Pennies will, once they get some moisture to them and stuff, they'll corrode a bit. It's the same thing that's going on right there, is that your body chemistry has something in it. There's oils on your fingertips that actually are reacting with the alloys in the guitar string. Almost every string I know of does it in one frame or another. It's just chemistry.
Oh, here's a good one. Why do guitar string packs look like condom packs?
I hope not to scale. I can say that.
Yeah. That is definitely not our intention. You can see our new Authentic Acoustic enhanced packaging that we have on there. So we put some great key attributes to help play in the end. And I guess a good segue to that is we always want to promote safe guitar playing.
There you go. Yeah, so it fits the narrative.
Right.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, too, I mean, this is something we kind of changed to, and a lot of the industry does the same thing, and it's about fresh. It's keeping the strings as fresh as possible. Boxes and envelopes can only do so much. You seal the thing up. You know, it's the best you can do to keep them fresh. Are Martin guitars good for country songs? Well, I mean, of course they're good for country songs. They're good for any song. I mean, we focus on tone. And that doesn't go with just guitars, it goes on strings. I mean, we do not want to sacrifice tone at any level. So if you're wondering if your guitar can play country songs or rock songs or any songs, trust me, they're designed to do whatever you need it to do from an acoustic standpoint.
And there's a ton of different guitars that we manufacture and different strings to couple with those guitars. Again, we just introduced a lot of great product at this NAMM show, so go and check those guitars out. I mean, there's
some exciting stuff.
Really great product.
Yes.
And depending on what genre of music you want to play, that can determine in stature. You know,
sure.
If you're a bigger person, you may want to use a dreadnought. Finger style playing guitar, either a double O or a triple O. But we definitely make something for everyone. So great for country playing music, but all music for sure.
Go ahead, Mike. You want to read that one?
Sure. Why did my ex-girlfriend smash my D28 on the stairs outside of her aunt's house?
Wow. So I would say, I mean, there's a couple reasons. I mean, I actually think you know the reason. You're just trying to act like you don't know the reason. But relationship counseling is always something to look into if it was intentional. If it was accidental, I would say get a better case. But yeah, definitely not a good scenario.
And, you know, if your guitar is smashed, depending on how badly it's smashed, we have an excellent factory, you know, luthier or 2 or 20 plus that could fix that damage. But we do offer, and this is a shameless plug,
That'll protect it. There
we
you
offer
go.
This Lux by Martin guitar detailer. Now this is something that could restore your guitar to almost factory condition. Great product to use when you're changing your strings. You wipe down your entire guitar. It's not just for the body, it's for the neck, for the bridge, the entire guitar. It's a handy moist towelette.
And remember, I mean, what makes this so important, this detailer, is the fact that it has natural oils in the wax. A lot of waxes you buy have silica in it. That will dry out finish, especially guitar finish. So this material is actually designed to sort of nourish your guitar, not just protect it. The traditional lock is unnecessary unless you like swatting flies with a hammer. I guess. I mean, you can look at it that way.
That was like one of my quarantine hobbies that I took up.
Yeah.
That's swatting the flies with
Now
a
you-
hammer, but
Now you can take up spackling.
I tried that, trust me.
The lock is it is a little involved, but I mean, you got to remember, you're up around 80, 90 pounds of tension on these guitar strings. The last thing you want is this thing to unravel.
Yeah, I mean, and it's simple. You know, we use this in our final inspection stages when the guitar's strung up. We've been doing it this way for a very, very long time. I know me, for instance, I was stringing guitars up wrong, upside down. They were just a mess, and I found that my guitar kept going out of tune.
Sure.
So one of the benefits truly is the tuning stability.
And the nice is, like you're saying, even the consistency of it all.
Yeah. Next question. When I boil my strings, do I add salt or MSG?
I prefer adobo.
That's, yes, a nice bouillon.
There you go.
Something gluten-free.
Yeah, don't boil your strings. I mean, I don't know, where that question would have come from, but if you really want good and tarnished strings, throw it in some boiling water. You will get the worst strings of all time. Cereal first or milk first?
How do you work that, Nate?
I'm a cereal first guy. I mean, let's face it, that's the substance of my bowl there, So I want to make sure there's enough cereal in there, and I just sprinkle a little milk on top. You?
Cereal, and then skip the milk and
Just shovel it in.
no, like bourbon or something.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Irish cereal.
Yeah. So it's string related. So
Sure.
can I turn my 12 string into a 6 string?
Sure. Put 6 strings on it, not 12.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now you got a 6 string.
It's yeah, with that, it's yeah. I think what you need to do is purchase another guitar.
Yeah.
And it's good to volley back and forth between them.
Yeah,
12 string and a 6 string.
Well, there's a lot of things a 12 string can do a 6 string will never be able to do. So without
Exactly.
that 12 string, yeah, you can only do so much.
I know when I want to do like a Want It Dead or Alive cover tune by Bon Jovi,
Which you do a lot.
Yeah, I go to the 12 string.
Will lifespan strings last longer than my marriage? I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Lifespan strings last a long time as treated strings go, but I hope your marriage lasts longer than it.
Yeah. So
It's a good segue into lifespan, though.
yeah,
Lifespan strings, they're a treated string. We don't do a coated string. Not to say that coated strings are bad. We just really know that tone is super important to us, and we think that the thinner coating, or I should say treatment, is much better for tone. We're always looking into more information and more options to try to get longer life out of our coated or our treated string. But as of right now, I think it's a pretty long-lasting string, and bang for the buck, I think you get the best tone and the longevity that you really need.
yeah, absolutely. I would agree. The lifespan too. It's from, like you mentioned, Nate, the tonality of it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks will say, when do I change my strings? And that's going to depend on where you live, how frequent you play, and a lot of other things. If you're playing a lot more, your strings are going to go dead quicker.
Sure.
So, and it's that dirt and grime that builds up mass that kills the strings. So, it really depends.
Agreed.
Will flexible core strings break if I take a chainsaw to them?
I'll tell you, they're going to break. You're going to get hurt. There's going to be strings winding up inside that chainsaw. It's going to take you a year to get them all out. Yeah, don't do that.
But FlexCore, great product.
It is, and it feels great. It's so loose.
Easy to bend.
Yes.
The tension is a little bit different. So it's going to take less force to actually push down and fret the instrument.
And it's a shame that, like, a lot of times people think the flex core is really for, beginners and things of that nature. But I know a lot of people who are really good players, and they prefer it just because of the flexibility of it all.
Yeah, it's got a thinner core wire and a thicker wrap wire.
Yep. You don't make mandolins. Why should I buy mandolin strings from Martin? We've built a lot of mandolins. Actually, I mean, in the past, we've built a lot of mandolins, and I would say we are by far not amateurs to the mandolin market and understanding the strings of mandolins. We definitely have tested our mandolin strings on our mandolins that we've built back in the golden era of Martin guitars. So we definitely have experience. We know what we're doing when we build mandolin strings. I promise.
When you're playing your mandolin, Nate, you use.
I do. I use Martin all the time.
Can I put Martin strings on a box of wood?
Yeah, I'm sure a box of wood can hold up a pack of strings. I don't think that would be a problem if that's what you're referring to. Or if you mean, can you really string a box of wood with Martin strings? Sure.
Was this the segue from that chainsaw question?
Maybe. The same guy who was asking about that. He wants to cut through the box of wood and the strings.
So now we got some live Q&A. This should be equally as interesting.
Agreed. So we're here a little longer to answer some of your questions that have been submitted. Keep them coming. We'll answer as many as we can.
And it's time to get my readers out.
Okay.
I need to see what's going on with this screen.
So the first question is, which strings do you recommend for a 12-string guitar? Namely a Martin GPC 12 PA4. It is preferable to tune it down to an EB or an E tuning. Mike?
Can you say that question again?
Which strings do you recommend for a 12-string guitar? Namely a Martin GPC 12 PA4. It is preferable to tune it down to an E flat or an E tuning.
Yeah, I would say RMA 535Ts. That's what the 12-string guitars leave the factory with.
Right.
So that's the lifespan version.
You get the best of both worlds at that point. Do you recommend any particular strings for new players? I would say, I mentioned before about FlexCore, and FlexCore a lot of times gets put to new players, mainly because you do have to build up calluses on your fingers, and it will wear on your skin. So in the beginning, that lighter touch that you need to play a flexible core string is ideal. Not to say that you have to, but I know a lot of first players who really enjoy learning with that set of string before moving on to something with high tensile.
And I would definitely add to that as well. If you put a lighter gauge string on, it's going to be easier to fret. You may not get the best projection out of that instrument.
But typically you're not playing out anyway, so it's not like important.
On a Dreadnought, a D14 fret guitar, I use medium strings, but I find myself occasionally putting a light gauge set of strings on there. I think that's just because I'm getting a bit frail and these fingers aren't lightning fast, anymore. So,
what strings do you recommend for an acoustical arch top? I don't really know. Mike, do you have any suggestions on that? I'll be honest with you, I don't really mess with arch tops that often.
Yeah, I believe when we did arch tops, right, for that period of time, we put lifespan strings on those as well. So another treated string is always a great go-to.
Sure. How are Monel strings different from standard strings? Well, Monel is a different alloy compared to what we typically use, a phosphor bronze or an 80-20. The Monel gives a much softer tone to the string. A lot of people enjoy stringing the guitars up with either or and kind of bouncing back and forth, because you're going to get a different sound. Different sound meaning that the Monel gives you more of a warm feeling sound to it, where the Foster Bronze or the 8020 is a little more brighter, a little more brash. So I think it depends on your mood, what you prefer.
Yeah, and great for recording.
Yes.
Great when you're using a pickup. And it really takes you back to that 1930s era.
Sound, yes.
And that sound that was achieved back then. So they're a really great string. And retro strings are great on smaller body mahogany instruments.
Right.
Retro strings from the factory, all of our 17 series guitars get laced up with retro strings, as well as our D Junior guitars. So again, we're trying to couple the best string with each instrument.
Any plans for round core strings? No, not really. I'll be honest with you. We really don't have a real desire to get into a full round string market. The core wire we use right now seems to work really well for us. Now that we tin plate all 6 strings, we really think that is a great formula for a long life, stable string that gives great tone.
Yeah, there are other manufacturers that will only tin plate the plain B and E string.
Yeah.
On ours, pretty much our outlook on it was what you don't see matters, right? So that's why we tin plate all of them. And that hexagon wrapped core wire, that's why we chose to go down that path of tin plating it for the authentic acoustic product.
Do my bridge pins affect my string sound? And if so, what ones do you recommend?
Bridge pins, there's ebony, there's plastic. Here's another shameless plug for our liquid metal bridge pins. Zirconium, the decibels that you'll get out of using these, it's upwards of 2 dBs by using these. All the feedback we've received on liquid metal bridge pins, it's been phenomenal.
It's been great. I mean, we've done extensive sound testing with those liquid metal pins, and we started out assuming that we would get some good results from them. We were actually kind of surprised by how much it changed the tone. It gave it a nice warm sound, and the projection increased. So, I mean, the acoustic energy that travels through that metal into that tone, into the top, it just seems to really make an efficient transfer and not lose anything through those pins.
Yeah, and initially it was, and still is, on all of our modern deluxe models.
Yes.
And that was really what kind of set the stage for us to go in the direction and offer these for resale. Yeah. So you can get them in 4 different flavors. Gold, chrome, Turkish emery, and bone.
Explain the relationship of Martin and Aquila on Magnifico strings. So, Mike, you might as well talk to that one. When you came on to the role you're in now, that was one of the first projects you really kind of headed up.
Yeah, and it's been in the works for quite a while. So the Aquila portion, we wanted to produce a premium, not only classical string, but also a ukulele string. We've partnered with them. Now it's been 3 years, 4 years maybe.
And we've been doing research and development with them for, we're probably almost on the 10 years.
Right.
We've always talked to them. We always had a relationship with them. We just didn't have a professional relationship. It was always sort of that we talked about things, and I enjoy working with them because they like to send us new product that they haven't really released to the public yet, so we can kind of test it on Martin guitars and get a feeling of what we think, and it's great because we bounce ideas back and forth off of each other.
And the stuff that they've created for us and we've partnered with them, it's exclusive to Martin.
Yes.
And we really wanted to drive home the point that, yeah, we can make a great classical string and a great ukulele string, but for a higher end tie end classical string, they were really the folks that set the bar
Yeah.
to take us to that next level.
Next question is, what makes the new 2.0 lifespan so corrosion resistant? It's a treatment process that is proprietary to what we do. It's the process we designed using a patented material that it actually puts a thin layer of a silane on the actual string itself, and that material gets used a lot in more industrial applications, anti-graffiti situations, glass sealers, things of that nature. We use a specific one that has been engineered for metal, and again, we worked on it for years. We had some consulting work done with an outside person, and we really came out with a product that I'm sort of proud of. I mean, I think we did a pretty reasonable job at creating a product that the public can enjoy. I mean, we're still looking for new and creative ways to make it better, but as of right now, I'm comfortable with what we have. Do you plan on making marquee silked version of the FX strings?
Interesting question.
It is.
The Marquee Silked, again, great product. We're the only company that currently does that. Works great on vintage instruments. So FlexCore or any other of the product lines, depending on what the true demand is, I think we could go after that.
Definitely. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Mike and I will discuss different combinations of different things that we already do, and the question always is the market really interested? That's always the big question. Would we, if we did a product like this, would we get any buy-in? And we will continue to look at that stuff. What's the best way to recycle strings?
We partner with TerraCycle. So at a lot of local music stores, there'll be a box there. D'Addario, a lot of other folks have been doing that for years, and we've partnered with them. So from a sustainability, renewable standpoint, you could look up TerraCycle, and they have their hands in a bunch of various recycling initiatives. It's not just guitar strings in general.
The last question is, why does phosphor bronze strings have the harsh brilliance when fresh on and sound so good after a week? A big reason for that is because, first of all, that core wire has not seen the tension you're about to put on when you put it on the guitar. So you'll get that tension, and then you have two alloys. You have your core wire and you have your wrap wire. That all needs to settle in. So they're fresh. They're going to be brilliant because it's metal on metal and there's no contaminants involved yet. The tension is fresh. Everything's fresh, and then once you play it for a while, it slowly starts to settle in.
Mellow out.
Yeah, it settles in, and then it just sort of gets nice and mellow.
Are there any chainsaw questions?
No, I think that was all the questions, including the chainsaw questions. So I think we're done.
Nice.
So, everyone, thank you.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Continue to look at the schedule. There's a lot of great things that Martin Guitar has going on over the next days of the show. We appreciate everybody tuning in, and enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of the show, everyone. See you later.